Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Rida here. And if you're new, I just want to say that I'm trying to be an aspiring indie app developer. And to start, I want to make an Android app. But before that, we just have to focus on the fundamentals. And I'm starting with the language Java. And in case you missed the last video, I talked about starting with Java and all the lessons I learned along with. So in that video, I stopped at methods. So and at the end of the video, I talked about creating objects of one class being while extending from another class. What this is mean in Java is there are several concepts like polymorphism, inheritance. So you can have an parent class, and a subclass can inherit the properties and methods from it. Method is a code of method is a block of code that will run when you call it. For example, if I were to show you, okay. So ignore this. If you see this line, it's called object1 dot sleep in brackets. So the sleep is a method here. So when object1 is sleep, so it will call the sleep method, and it will call this line depending on what object it is and what class it belongs to. It may call La Liga teams playing Spain, or best player is Vinicius. I just had fun with my example. You can use the same methods. You can use the same name of the method multiple times in different classes. It's called method overloading. Coming back to that point where the problem I had understanding when you create an object, like you have a subclass and you create an object that holds the value of the parent class. At that point, I was not sure about it, but turns out I was. So what generally happens, for example, this is a main class called the teams. In this case, it's interface. The principle is the same. A class implements like inheritance, polymorphism. Let's stick to the basics. Implements is it implements, extends. Sometimes we have outer classes, inner classes, etc. So what this is we have animal sound method, and we have a sleep sound method. And although I could change the names, I just stuck with them with the examples. In this case, there is no body to this. There's no a code that will run what the code that will run for this method is present in the subclasses or the child class. For example, when you use the same animal sound here, you can put override function here as well if you want. When the same animal sound is created in this class, it will output La Liga team playing Spain. This is what system out means. It will output this on the screen. And if you come to another class, it's the same method. Here you're doing method overloading. Same method will give Premier League teams play in England. All these are football references. I have to say that the name of the Java files should match the name of the main class. So in this case, the main class is called main. Here, before we can run that method, so what we have to do is we have to create objects. Now you can create objects directly towards the parent class, or you can do the subclass. What you can do is, if you create a parent class, you won't have the properties of the subclass. But if you create the object holding values from the subclass, because it is inheriting from the main class, you can have all the properties. So that is what I stuck to. So we create multiple one, two, three objects here. Objects will store and run the methods that are present in the subclass. So now we have object. Now when we run object, it is because it's part of the subclass that has the values of parent class. It will run the animal sound method, and as I said, the value will come. The output value will be La Liga teams playing space. So that's what I understood. And like you have different topics like different abstract classes, private classes, public classes, like outer class, inner classes, where you have to create objects so that you can run the method. The syntax is different in certain cases, but the principle is same. So that's what I understood till now. I also had to say during last week, I have been like learning every day for the past week. And one thing that I had like difficulty concept graphic. And usually what happens is I have doubts and I stop my focus sessions, and when I go to sleep, that's what I think about now. And I get the answer in sleep. I make sense of it in the sleep, and then I go to like, actually sleep. So what problem was like, usually what I do is I create one class for one Java file and then I run it. But sometimes when you have to use multiple parent class subclasses, it is difficult to compile. So then I was like, I asked Google Gemini, can I store multiple classes in a single Java file? It said it could, but then I had a problem of understanding, if I write multiple classes in a single Java file, how do I run each thing? Then there are two ways. As I said, you can create objects. for each class to hold methods of each class, but on only the object of select classes. What happens in this case is while you create objects, all these methods are loaded into memory, and only one method is run. So it's not as efficient. So in that case, you can remove uh, objects completely, like from the code of what classes that you don't want. So you can create as many classes as you want. Like if when you work with small samples, like small files, you can create as many as you want, and then create objects to hold methods that you want. So that in that way you can be really specific. So coming to my progress, I have finished methods and different topics. Yesterday, I was learning about array list and linked list sorting, like using importing packages, collection packages, and then using sorting methods in or alphabetically numeric. Then in reverse order, reverse order example, you can see I was trying to order these players' names. Again, a football reference. Um, So after all that, okay, I just want to mention that array list and linked list are really interesting compared to normal array. Array is something that you can hold multiple values, and if you want to like bring each value, you can use a for each loop. That's really fun. Instead of giving it in like individual commands, you can store a large set of values. But unlike a normal array, it's very fixed. So array list can be resized at any point of time, and linked list also same thing because both of them are and with this you can. There's also one more thing mentioned. Linked list can use all the methods of array list and have more simple methods like get last, add first. Whereas in array list you have to use particular index number so that you can set one, add one, remove one. In linked list that's more simplified, easier to understand. So hope today okay. So today's agenda after like today agenda is understand this like we are in hash map right now. Like I have little bit like difficulties like once you keep learning all these topics and suddenly you get a topic little more difficulty. That is where we are right now with hash map. So I will read this by my own examples and ask Gemini to explain. I'm using different AIs, but I'm coming back to Gemini because it's the way it explains the code is what resonates with me. That's what I'm going to be using, or I might use Claude. Okay, enough talking. I just want to one more thing I just want to mention for writing code. It's every day when I sit down and start coding, it's imperative to set up your developing environment. So it's something that takes getting used to. Hmm. Let me set up it. Let me set it up first. Okay, this is a code, and I just compiled it and ran. So this was the example I was practicing hash map example. Let's get back to it. So hey guys, this was supposed to be the next day, but it's actually the next week. This is because I fell sick last week and I'm just recovering now. So I thought I feel better today, so I thought I'll just get some coding done. So I see that I have done some work in hash set. I was trying to figure out something like figuring out how to work with this iterator. So that's what we're going to do today. I don't want to push myself too much today, but let's get some work done. Okay, here's the update. I have finished till threads, and to further understand this concept, I asked Gemini to give me an example of a program. I wrote this following program. I'm trying to run it for the past 15 minutes, but I'm getting some sort of error. I'm like, I'll leave it, I'll check it, I'll do it tomorrow because I'm primarily hungry and I'm not able to think straight. Before we meet again in the next vlog, I hope to complete these following things, and the aim of the next vlog will probably be about, now that I have completed learning this, I want to further my like I want to solidify my understanding by working on some projects, and I learned about this prompt from watching this YouTube video. I'm gonna ask to give me five project ideas. That's gonna be the aim for the next one. With that, see you, take care, bye bye.